Hi, I'm Chef Gail Sokol and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're making a blueberry lemon ricotta cake. So simple, so delicious. And if you love blueberry muffins, this is sort of like a giant blueberry muffin cake, and it's got a gorgeous lemon glaze over the top. So easy. Now, before we get started, I'd like you to click that notification button, and I'd like you to become a subscriber because I want you to see all my videos and tips because I love having you in my kitchen and I have a lot to show you and teach you. So let's get started. You got a little extra ricotta in your fridge? This is the recipe to use it up. So what I did was I took a 9-inch cake pan. I sprinkled it with, I sprayed it with some nonstick cooking spray, but you can also do butter, oil, whatever you want to grease. And then I put a cake parchment circle in there, a parchment paper circle. And then I sprinkled it with flour, dumped out the excess, but I sprayed it again before I did the flour. All right, dumped out the excess. If you want to know how to actually have insurance and to get the cake the circle of the parchment in there and prepare your pan, I have a video on that that's amazing too. And that's insurance. That's going to guarantee that your cake comes out of the pan, because I just heard from a subscriber who lost an entire cake because it wouldn't come out of the pan. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating. Okay, this cake is so easy. Do you see a mixer? I don't see a mixer. There is no mixer. We don't need a mixer. All we need is 2 bowls. One for dry ingredients, one for wet ingredients, and then they go together. And if you recall, I've made my blueberry muffins, and they use the muffin method of mixing or just a 2-bowl method. So easy, so easy. So for our dry ingredients, I have 1½ cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of granulated sugar, whisk that up, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 3/4 teaspoon of salt. Get that all in there. That's our dry ingredients. That's it, folks. Now, I've preheated my oven to 350 degrees, and I always let that go for 15 to 20 minutes. Don't wait until you're ready to go in the oven, because the oven needs to be hot. And the baking powder, once it's in with some wet ingredients, it's going to start rising. All right, so we really don't want to lose any of that chemical leavening. All right, so once you're done mixing that, we take whisk from the dry ingredients and use the same whisk for our wet ingredients. And I have a bigger bowl, and here I'm going to put I have 1½ cups of ricotta. You can use whole milk ricotta, you can use part skim ricotta, you can use anything you want. You can use half and half, whatever you got. You got some extra ricotta from a lasagna or something like that. Perfect, perfect to use it up. It just gives such moistness to this cake that it's absolutely amazing. I have 3 large eggs. Put those in. Again, dry, wet ingredients, and put them together, you got a cake batter. 1/2 cup of either melted butter. I'm using vegetable oil. All right, trying to keep it a little lighter, a little healthier. Whatever you want to do, you do what's good for you. 1/2 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, 1/2 teaspoon of lemon zest, and zest from 1 lemon. Just get that all in there. All right, and now you're going to whisk. You really want to break up those yolks. Oh, I can smell the lemon. Yum. The lemon zest is just so fresh. And don't skip the lemon zest. It really makes a difference. Now, I like to add the dry into the wet. I think it blends in easier. Some chefs do it the opposite. I just think it blends in easier. Maybe it has something to do with being left-handed. I don't know. My brain is flip-flop, but it works. It works. All right. Now, we put the whisk down. We don't want to whisk the dry ingredients into the wet because we're going to develop gluten. And you know what that is, right? That's the proteins in wheat flour that when mixed with water-based ingredients, and our ricotta and our eggs do have some water-based ingredients, they create this structure. this protein matrix. And what happens is it gives a beautiful sort of structure for the cake, but too much of it makes toughness, and we don't want it to be tough. We don't want a pizza crust feeling cake. We want a nice light cake. So I'm going to sort of use my rubber spatula and fold the dry into the wet. And I really get very little stickage. I made up a word, stickage. You know, stuff that gets stuck on the bottom of the bowl. You really don't have a lot because you added the dry into the wet. So the wet was already on the bottom and blended right in with the dry. So I'm just going to get that really nice. Looks like a muffin batter to me, folks. And now I have fresh blueberries. You can use frozen if you want to. If you use frozen, don't thaw them. I have 1 1/4 cups. I'm going to put most of them in here, about a cup in here, and I'm going to save about 1/4 cup of them just to scatter them on the top. And don't overmix or you're going to end up with a giant Smurf ricotta blueberry cake. So don't do that. So we're just going to gently put them in. You don't have to coat these blueberries with flour. Make sure they're not wet. Make sure you wash them and dry them thoroughly. I usually put them over a kitchen towel or a paper towel. And now you're just going to put them into your prepared pan. Remember, my oven is ready to go. 350 degrees Fahrenheit. My blueberries are completely uniformly blended around the batter because I don't want to see them sink to the bottom. I want everybody to enjoy a blueberry bite. All right. Now I'm going to go get my offset spatula, which I forgot. And you know, this is the way I sort of smooth out my batter. I take my offset spatula and I gently, I don't want to break a blueberry, you're going to go around almost like you're the hand on a clock. And you're going to go clockwise or counterclockwise, it doesn't matter, but you're just going to smooth it, smooth it. We don't want any humps and bumps. Perfect. And now I'm going to take the remainder of the blueberries and just scatter them on top. They'll look beautiful. And then that lemon glaze that's going to go on top later, it's going to be awesome. Now, this goes in the oven for between 50 and 60 minutes or until a small sharp cake knife comes out clean. See you back when it's ready to come out. So I took my blueberry lemon ricotta cake when it was barely warm and I flipped it onto this footed, beautiful platter. Isn't it gorgeous? It's gorgeous. And it's just a little warm, but it came out beautifully because I had that parchment cake circle. All right, glaze, lemony glaze. 2 ingredients, that's it. 1 cup of confectioner's sugar, only sift it if it's lumpy, and otherwise you don't have to. And then maybe 1 to 3 teaspoons of fresh lemon juice. You may need more because it depends on how over 1 cup or under 1 cup you measured. Sometimes confectioner sugar gets packed. So what I'm going to do is err on the side of just a little bit, and you may need a little bit more, but you really don't want, you can see I need a lot more, but you really don't want to make a glaze that is too thin. Nobody likes a glaze that's more on the platter than on the cake. You want it on the cake. All right. Still, I need a little more. You see that, how it glops up into the whisk? And that's fine. I've had students that go too far and say, hey, Chef Sokol, I'm going to need a lot more. And you know what? You have to see how carefully. We're getting close, but we're still a little. You want it to be drizzleable. Drizzleable. You want to be able to drizzle it with the cake. All right. I'm making up my own language. I'm going to add now I'm going slow now because I don't want to overdo it. Because you can go from thick to watery thin in a matter of a few drops. So be careful. All right, you see that? We're close, but we're still a little just a little bit tight. So we're just going to go just a little. All right, so I'm going to just mix that. I really want to see the glaze. I don't want it to sort of be too watery. If it's too watery, you don't see it. You don't see the nice white glaze against the blue of the blueberries. You see that? Nice, right? You can do one of two things. You can drizzle or you can spread. So if you're a drizzler, drizzle. If you're a spreader, spread. Let's move this on here and see what you want to do. See, and you can also drizzle and then spread. I mean, I can't help it. I get a little, just a little thrill when I do this because I love it. I love drizzling icing over cake. It is like a giant blueberry lemon muffin that you get to share with everybody. Oh, I love it. I love it. And keep moving that whisk. I think I'm a drizzler. I'm a drizzler, definitely a drizzler. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And you want to get it all there. Yum. Now you can let this set. The confectionery sugar glaze will firm up, or you don't have to wait. You can just cut into it. This is great for a brunch. This is great for a dessert. This is great for anything. If you're going on a picnic, you have people over very, very fast, and you need something fast. You saw how fast it came together. So I hope you make this beautiful blueberry lemon ricotta cake, and I hope you become a subscriber. Till next time.